This is going to be a hard. No, it's not going to be hard. This is a very different video from what y'all are going to be normally used to. This isn't really gaming or any fun stuff at all. This is something very serious that I think someone in particular needs to hear, especially from me, uh, given how much they looked up to me and trusted me, and even just how much they reminded me of myself. This was a kid I taught a while ago. We will get there though. So you'll notice that the name of this video is It Gets Better. And currently my life it's going really well. I haven't posted for a while, but that's because I have a full-time job. Now I actually have a full-time job. I have a full-time job for once in my fucking life. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I am so happy and thankful for it. It has completely changed my life. And we will get into why it has taken me so long to get to this point, to be, I want to say content, because that's what I was hoping for the longest time, because I knew a bit of contentment um, a while back, and I thought that's what I wanted. But I wake up every morning, and I'm genuinely happy that I get to go to work, and I like my job, and I like my friends, and anyways, it gets better. For I struggled for a really long time in my life. I wasn't I didn't really have a lot of friends, especially when I was younger. I have a lot of friends now. It's taken me a while to accumulate them, and they're very good friends. And I trust them and I love them so much. But back when I was, back in elementary, middle, high school, I was friendly with people. I could get along with people perfectly fine. Uh, I think most people liked me. I found out after, some girls had crushes on me that they confessed to after that, which, great, but whatever. Um, but I really didn't have many friends when I was growing up. I did. It's not that I couldn't make them, but when I was particularly young, a lot of people that I was very close friends with moved away. So it's not like I did anything wrong or that there was anything I could really do about it, especially because I was a kid. Oh, but the people that I really treasured as friends moved, and they were gone from my life. I'm not gonna name them off, but I can think of three names that come to my head just right away, and they made me very happy, and I spent a lot of time playing with them, and I had a lot of fun with them, and I lost them. So for a long time, I saw people as these very disposable things that I would just lose no matter what. If I got close to someone, they would not be there. I'd get close and it'd be great, and then there would be nothing. It was just me. And sure, there were like other kids in the class, but you really click with certain people. There's a lot of people in this world. You really got to pick and choose your friends carefully and wisely. These are because your friends reflect who you are. If you surround yourself with certain types of people, you will bleed into each other, and you'll, you know, learn from them, and you'll gain traits from them, and by being around them, you share a lot with each other and understand each other. And if you surround yourself with good people, it's good. And I'm very good at surrounding myself with good people, I think. But there are definitely some people out there that have toxic people in their life, and learning to set boundaries and stuff like that can be very difficult. So for a long time when I was young, even when I was a young adult. And I want to say right up until maybe a year or two ago, I really kind of started finding my path. But I was in a very dark place, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. I was in a very dark place in my own head for a very long time. And I was just kind of wandering. Because that's what I do. I'm very curious. I love watching YouTube because it's not just, people playing video games, which I love. And that's why I created this channel, because I want to share that with people. Because I always love watching some people play games. But I would just, I used to read a lot of books, but the internet's better because it's like, why not a book? It has a lot of words, it has a lot of information, but so does the internet. Anyone can post on it. They can post whatever, and there's visuals too, right? So you're not just reading words, you are seeing all this stuff that is happening, and I'm a very visual person, right? If you just tell me stuff, it's probably going to go over my head, right? It just doesn't click for me. I have to see what I am doing to understand it. That's the thing I'm very aware about myself. I have to see what I'm doing. And it was very hard for a long time. And life is full of hardship and challenges. But I have a very good family, so they helped a lot. Just being there. They really didn't know what I was going through, but they were very helpful just being there in my life. And even more so recently, as I've grown to appreciate them more, I am truly thankful. I'm a little pissed off at a certain person in my family at the moment, but I'm very thankful they're in my life. All of them. Especially my mother and my grandmother. They mean so much to me. But I was in a dark place for a long time, and I struggled. I used to actually be a really good student, A's and B's, and at some point I just stopped caring. I was like, all right, C student all the way, C's and B's, sometimes an A if I really like the class. Which was fine, I guess. Excel in the things that you're very passionate about and just kind of pass the things you're not so much into. Although it's a little ironic because I'm not the biggest fan of math, but I'm really good at it. So take that as you will. I just kept going. Whenever back when this was during the pandemic. So when I first went to college, I was so excited. I'd done community college, and that will be a story for another time, but I love that. And I got a bunch of classes and my associates and game design out of the way. And I did eventually get my bachelor's in computer science. But when I went to Fort Hayes, that was when the pandemic hit. Instead of, like joining a frat and making a bunch of friends and taking care of myself and going to my classes, I stayed in a small dorm room by myself. And I picked up a couple bad habits that I've only just kicked this year, very recently. I no longer feel a strong need to drink or smoke to make myself happy, right? And it wasn't really me being happy, it was me just covering up how miserable I was. I thought it was very fun. It can still be fun, right? But everything in moderation, and I was not using those in moderation. And the pull, I don't feel the need for them anymore. It's like, do I want this? And I just say no. Sometimes I'm like, I actually don't feel like drinking. And it's a little surprising to me, but I'm very happy about it because it means I'm happy in myself and I don't need a substance to try and cover up my sadness about my life. And I still got my degree. I pushed through. I persevered, man. I knew there were goals I wanted, there were things I wanted in my life, but it was so So hard to get them. Like I said, I'm here now. I'm happy. I'm so happy with my life, but it took me so long to get to this place. And there's an analogy that I think will be very helpful to explain this. Trees, trees are very strong, very powerful, but like any living thing, they can bend with a storm coming in, and they can break and be broken. I need to look at my other monitor for a second, because okay, so tree bark. This is what I'm getting to. Um, I'm just gonna read off here for a second. So tree bark grows from the cambium, a layer of cells that produces new bark and wood in response to hormones and nutrients from the leaves. All right, so if the sun is out and if the sun is outside, it's shining, and you got a lot of nutrients in the soil, you're gonna grow big and strong, right? Whereas if you're missing those things, cambium produces new cells that push outward, forming new bark, and that's very true for us. Our cells aren't immortal. They get kind of cycled out over time, die and rebirth. And all the dead bark on the outside, like our skin, falls off over time and is replaced with new cells. And what is our skin for? Well, much like tree bark, it protects us from the weather, from injury, from diseases. If you have a big cut on you, you want to put a little antibiotic on it, a band-aid, and cover it up because it's a wound. And the outer bark is made of dead cells, so it doesn't regenerate if damaged. And that sometimes happens when you get a cut, right? You get dead skin, and it just falls off, right? It has to heal and repair itself with something new. And to heal and repair, you need that sunlight and nutrients, right? So if you're a person, you need a good environment and you need to take care of yourself. I will get to that in a second, but tree bark. The bark of some trees changes dramatically with age, while others retain a similar appearance throughout their lives. That's true with stress. If you are very stressed out, it will age you. It will. I worked with a guy, Murray. God, I love Murray so much. He was such a cool dude. I worked at a inner city school, and he was the IT guy, and he was fucking amazing. Murray, if you ever hear this, you're awesome, man. I don't even have words to put into how awesome you are, how much I looked up to you because but you know what? He was actually kind of young, I think. I think if I remember correctly, I'm not entirely sure, but he was like in his early 30s. And from being in that stressful environment, working with those kids, and the past that he had from working in that line of work, his hair was gray. He was this relatively young guy, and his hair had a few gray hairs in it, and that's what stress will do to you. It will wear you down, and it will age you. So tree bark helps us deal with life, right? Protects us, and life is full of many storms, right? That's what it's supposed to do. A tree bark protects the tree. It makes it strong, so when a storm comes in, the tree doesn't just snap like a twig, right? It's big, it's thick, it's got this hard outer layer that protects it. All the soft stuff inside that if it were just left out in the open, would leave you extremely vulnerable to damage. And damage like that is very hard to repair when it's that soft internal stuff, right? The bark renews itself. But when you are damaged internally, that is significant damage that needs a lot of healing to repair. And most times it will scar, right? It won't just be fresh skin. There will be a permanent mark there. And trees need bark to, be strong. And a tree without wind, this is this is something I recall because I think there's some sort of study, but without wind, trees are weaker and they die more quickly. So if you don't have wind, if you don't have any resistance in your life, you're just free, willy-nilly, you don't really have any conflict or hardship. You're just kind of, not really pushed or challenged. You're not going to go stronger. And what happens when a tree does not have wind is that when a storm finally does come in, and especially if it's a strong storm, that will break the tree. That will kill it. If you do not have that outer protective layer of bark, you will die. And I feel like my bark has grown a lot stronger because of all the wind and all the storms I have faced in my life. Stress wood. Wind stress causes trees to grow reaction wood or stress wood, which helps them grow and prevents them from collapsing. So trees can even collapse, without even the storms. You can collapse internally on yourself. Maybe it's only a little pressure from the outside, or maybe not even any, but stress wood has a different structure than the rest of the trees would. Root development. Wind causes trees to move. I'm reading the AI, but this is generally correct. This is something I know because I've read this before and studied it, like I study many things. Wind causes trees to move. Yeah, if you have a strong wind, it will push you. But it's a tree. A tree isn't supposed to move. So wind causes trees to move, which signals them to grow deeper roots. Right? So strong roots to keep you grounded and in place. These roots support the tree as it grows taller. So not only does it help against the wind, also when you strengthen yourself, you need to pull all these nutrients to feed yourself, right? You need to get stronger. You need stability and energy, right? And you don't need a ton of it. You just need a little more, like a tree, a little more and a little more over time. You grow. The stress from wind helps trees develop resilience and learn to take care of themselves. Yep, you gotta go through some shit to learn how to take care of yourself. Ah, yes. In an experiment in a windless biosphere, trees grew faster than normal, but collapsed under their own weight before they could fully mature. That's important. I don't know. I can add no more to that, but that is important. And I know that I have matured and I've grown a lot stronger. Like I said, especially within the past couple of years, I have done a ton of growing. And part of that was I faced a very strong storm in my life. I taught at that school. And it was one of, if not probably the most stressful experience of my life. Those kids, some of them loved me, some of them, just got their work done, and then some of them were, by God, a pain in the ass, and I had to kick them out of my classroom so many times. Because I'm trying to teach a class. There's kids that want to learn, which, oh God, I loved it when they do. Especially the ones that looked up to me and were so excited. I love that so much. But I was not very I was not very good in the past at setting boundaries and standing up for myself. And working with those kids and seeing the teachers and how they dealt with them, and me just finally being kind of pushed to my breaking point. It's the strong wind that's pushing against me. It's like, you're ruining my teaching hour. You are out of here. But I got stronger from that, right? And the kids that genuinely loved learning from me, I strengthened me. And so did the ones that challenged me. They both, the whole experience was very strengthening. And my bark grew tough. And I became a lot stronger for it. And a massive reason why I'm making this video. This is, I don't want to say, I'm trying to keep people private here. But he knows who he is. He was in my middle school class. He reminded me a lot of myself. The same, Jay, his name starts with the same name. It's a biblical name, like mine. But he reminded me a lot of myself. Pretty skinny, uh, loved technology. He was very good with computers. Those were some shit laptops that the school had, but by God, he was able to do some stuff with it. Or at least, get into the school's security system and bypass it. So I never did that when I was in high school. that's when I started really messing around with stuff. But he and the rest of his family were very much into tech. It was a large family of kids. Basically, the only white kids in the school because there were like 12 siblings. It was, yeah. But he reminded me a lot of myself. And he was very good, and I was very proud of him. And he learned so much from me that I just tossed stuff at him, and he got it done. And he's like, what's next? What do I do now? And I was like, I don't have anything for you to do. I gave you the extra work, and I am trying to teach everyone else and trying to get them up to the level that you are at, and that is not happening. Like, I don't think I entirely figured out how to balance that out, but that's just because he was so far ahead. That's what genuine passion does to a person. When they find something they like, they will go farther and further than anyone else. When you find something you truly love in your life and you stick with it, everyone will be left in the dust behind you. It's not because you're trying to be mean about it. It's just like, oh my God, look at what I can do. And you just take off sprinting when everyone's just kind of jogging and they're looking at you like, what the fuck? How'd you do that? It's just because you found your calling. And he reminded me a lot of myself. One day, I was kind of in the back of class, just kind of watching them work, monitoring them, and he comes up to me, right? I don't know what happened that day, but it was something. But he broke down in front of me, basically, which I'm very honored. Before I go on, I'm very honored that he trusted me so much to open himself up. He, like I said, reminded me of myself. He talked about how miserable he was, how much pain he was in, how he didn't want to wake up in the morning and go to school at all. He just wanted to die, And I was stunned. I was shocked. Because that was just, it was this big emotional outburst that just felt like it came from nowhere and that blew a friend from my face. Not the right word for it, but you get what I mean. It was just this explosion of feeling. And I was kind of in a stunned shock. And there was another teacher in the room. She's great. I'm not very good with names. I remember all their faces very clearly, not the names, but she was awesome. I didn't really say anything. I wish I did, but you'll see why in a second. She basically told him, break the cycle. You can do it. Go to college. Show to your family that you're better. That you can do so much more with your life. And I wish I could have told him that. Which is why I'm saying all this now. Because I feel this is important and I really hope he hears this. Because I'm me right now. I'm so happy where I am. for the first time in my life, I wake up every morning and I'm happy. That's a weird feeling for me, because when he let all that out to me, and I was stunned, and I was thinking of, what can I say? He was like me when I was younger. And I was still in a very, like I said, that was a very stressful point in my life. And I was still in that dark place. And I could not look him in the eyes and say, it doesn't get better. Like, how could I? Hey, life is fucking miserable, and it's terrible, and it doesn't get any better. Like, what the fuck? It's such a ridiculous thought to me now, but that was the only thing I had at the time. And I could not say that to him. I could not. But I'm very glad she said all that. And I'm very happy and glad that I'm saying all this now. Because I didn't mean to leave him just hanging. I wish I could have supported him. But if you want to take care of other people and you really want to help other people, you have to take care of yourself first. Otherwise, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder, and you're not going to know what to say or do, because you're going to be struggling as well. Your environment shapes who you are. If you're a man on a desert island, you got a coconut tree and that's about it, you're going to be probably hungry, thirsty, maybe starving. And there's this girl I really looked up to. I still kind of do, but not so much. I kind of put her on a pedestal, and that was wrong of me. Never put people on a pedestal. The highest you should ever put someone is a mentor. That is it. You have a teacher, and if you're an adult, it's more of a mutual understanding, but if it's a child, these are people that are here to teach you and to learn from. But for the longest time, I had this girl up on this pedestal because she was so inspiring to me. And one of the big things was, she has really good parents. My parents are really good too, but one of the things was, look in the mirror and say positive things about yourself, right? I actually, crap, I'll read you, I actually have a whole note that I call this mental care, and I'll read some of the stuff off to you right now. Talk positively to yourself. Thoughts are a feedback loop. If I think negatively, then I will feel bad about myself. Oh, you sucked. You failed at this. You can't win. I cross that out. Replace with positive words and positive feedback loops. I did good today, and I've done some tasks, or even just a task. I failed, but I've gained experience, so I can do better next time. Just do a little more, a little better. Doesn't have to be the best, just better. Fight the fight. I like that one. I feel like a very much warrior persona. I'm a man of war. Video game warlord. None of this was ever here for me until this past couple years. Back to the man on the desert island. You cannot tell a man who's on a desert island, alone, thirsty and starving, to think positively. That doesn't work. You can't tell a starving man, just think you're full. You can't tell him if he's thirsty, just imagine like you have water and you're drinking it. You can't tell him, hey, if you're lonely, just think that you have friends, because that's not how it works. Then I was in that was me. My personal thing was, I was in a forest. It's dark. It's cold. My spirit animal's a wolf. Icon, yeah. But, and I love dogs, but I was in a dark, snowy forest, and I visualized myself as a wolf. And I was alone and starving. A lone, starved wolf for a very, very long time. And I'll contrast this real quick because I know that's a real downer, but right now for me, the snow is melting, the sun is shining, and the snow is glistening. It is beautiful. I have blood around my jaws, not out of violence, but feasting on like prey on your kills, on your success in life. I have been successful, and I feel so much stronger for it and better about myself. Like a starving man versus a man who's been to the gym and working out. That kind of difference. And I am surrounded by my pack. I'm surrounded by other wolves. I'm surrounded by family and many good friends I have cultivated over time. I'm no longer a starving, lone wolf. And I'm really happy. I'm so happy about that. So, the desert island, your environment shapes who you are. If you do not have food, if you do not have water, if you do not have people around you that love you and support you, you will become weak. And you'll become depressed. Whereas if you're in a good place, you're surrounded with food and water and a warm home instead of out in the cold, and you have many good friends and family surrounding you, you'll be better. Your environment shapes who you are. And once you kind of recognize that, or even if you're really struggling, because like I said, this is years, this was a long time I struggled for my goals and my dreams, which I just thought would never happen. They're slowly happening, slowly, not all at once, but I am patient and I believe and trust that I will achieve them all someday. That I will even exceed my goals. I would love that. If I exceeded my goals, I would be so happy. But I'm just starting to really achieve them and get into my full swing in life. So you can, since your environment affects you, shape your environment. What can you do within your power, however much that is, to change it? Right? A very basic example that everyone will get is if you put out pain, you strike someone, they will feel hurt and they will strike you back. And that will be another pissed off person in the world, in your environment. Whereas if you show someone love and you care about them and you are kind to them, maybe you compliment them or you give them a small gift, they'll be like, oh, this person is pretty nice and good. They seem pretty good. And they'll treat you kindly in return. This isn't a universal rule. There are some very, very fucking shitty people out there. But avoid those people. Shape your environment. If you ever find people like them, kick them out of your life immediately. Okay? You might not recognize it at first. This all takes time. It takes a lot of learning. But if you find someone that is genuinely being harmful in your garden, kick them out. They do not belong there. You need good people in your life that care for you and love you and support you. Okay? I don't know who needed to hear that, but if you need to hear that, that's what you need in your life. It makes a world of difference. And life is full of surprises. I'm kind of surprised I'm here right now in front of you doing this. I didn't even think I'd be here. because I was in that dark place for a long time. And there are good surprises, bad surprises, but life is full of surprises. And I'm very happy about all the good surprises that have happened to me. So, like I said, I'm surprised I'm here. I'm surprised I'm happy, and I'm all here for it. We're gonna see where life takes me, but it gets better. Life gets better. I have a full-time job. I'm making money. I'm good at my job. I love what I'm doing. Oh, goddamn spam callers. Out of here, phone. They've been calling me all day. It's driving me nuts. Kick spam callers out of your environment. Those people are shitty too. Get the fuck out of here. But I have good friends, good family, good job, good life. I'm happy. And now that I'm happy and I'm feeling secure in myself and I feel like a person, I'm gonna really start driving towards my goals and achieving them. I'm gonna achieve them all. And I'm going to exceed them. Because it's just do a little more, a little better. Doesn't have to be the best, although do your best. That's what I learned from Boy Scouts. You can't all the time though. I know it's hard. But just do a little better each and every day. Because I'm telling you right now, I promise you, it does get better. Have a nice day, guys. And I will be resuming content on this channel soon. It's not going to be this deep personal stuff. Probably. I don't know, maybe every now and then, but this is more for like fun stuff, right? We're gonna maybe a serious thing here and there, but this channel is it's a very personal channel to me because it's who I am. This is who I am. Video Game Warlord John. And we're gonna game and we're gonna have fun, boys. We're gonna have fun. You and me. So I hope you all have a good day. And I hope whoever needed to hear this has listened. Know the unknown. See the unseen. Hear the unheard. Have a good day.